My friends, I want to ask you just one question. How does somebody get over in professional wrestling? Well, as is the case for everything else in this sport, there's no set formula, and some wrestlers will literally spend decades grinding away before happening on something that truly connects, while others, well, they can flip the switch within a single bout. Sometimes all it takes is a pair of aviator shades, some slow motion leg kicks, and the slightest thumbs up you've ever seen, as I'm about to discuss. I'm Andy for What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 times wrestlers got over with one match. Number 10. Orange Cassidy. This guy was already over to an endearing level when he wrestled his first AEW singles match at Revolution, but a scintillating bout in classic underdog babyface mode against Pac took him to the next level. Essentially bringing his David Starr match from Beyond to a major level, Cassidy won legions of new supporters against a perfect heel prick, tearing the roof off with an authentic selling performance that reeked of classic babyface tropes. The balance of shtick and lucha libre couldn't have been more on point, and with his crescendos and comebacks perfectly timed, Cassidy had the crowd in raptures. Much to the chagrin of his detractors, we now have learned that Cassidy is a genuine needle mover for AEW as well. He scored the peak viewership on the first episode of Dynamite to feature Mike Tyson, coming in at over 1 million viewers for his entry into the Battle Royal, and his quarter-hour numbers post regular increases every single week as well. So, say what you will about the man and his comedy, but he's over as hell. Number 9. Ronda Rousey. The optimistic view heading into WrestleMania 35 was that WWE would craft a wily smoke and mirrors match to hide Ronda Rousey's limitations, with Triple H and Kurt Angle using their veteran savvy to do so, limiting Ronda to one explosive hot tag. What we got, however, was something transcendent. Everybody was exceptional in this match, including Stephanie McMahon, but it was Rousey who shone the brightest, morphing from celebrity to prodigy in mere seconds. She decimated Stephanie with skilled brutality, and everything was done with a performer's instinct, from plucking hair from McMahon's scalp to destroying her husband with machine gun punches. And the result was a fabulous match that saw Ronda become a legend of the US women's scene in just 22 minutes. Number 8. Jon Moxley. For Jon Moxley, when he walked into New Japan Pro Wrestling, it was time for him to put up or shut up, and the guy had done an awful lot of talking. In his first post-WWE match, Moxley faced Juice Robinson for the IWGP US title. It was a tremendous, gnarly, and totally committed fight that fused Moxley's hardcore tendencies with the rhythms of strong style. Moxley had the expressive face, the imposing physique, and the badass body language to get the initial standoff over in a way totally unique to himself, and sank his teeth into Juice Robinson's forehead to portray himself as a nasty bastard with a total disregard for the rules, and, in politely apologising, an endearing, humorous figure to the new Japanese audience. This was Jon Moxley unregulated, a funny but not wacky badass, and it comprehensively embarrassed the memory of Dean Ambrose, who, remember, in his final days in WWE, hated the fans because they smelled. Yep. Number 7. TAZZ. Royal Rumble 2000 saw TAZZ get over as a legitimate feeling wrestler with a cool, distinct aesthetic, and a dangerous grappler with a unique style that you could buy into ending Kurt Angle's career by a matter of millimeters, as he choked the Olympic gold medal winner out in Madison Square Garden. He got over huge in his native New York City, and in another world, this would have been the start of a long successful run towards the top of the biggest promotion in the world. That it wasn't is a damning indictment of the booking process, because why the hell would you bring the guy in, give him such a perfect debut, and then derail the whole damn thing? But it was what it was, it's happened now, nobody can change that, and yeah, the follow-up was rubbish, but the debut was incredible. Number 6. Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's wrestling character was ridiculous, but in the most celebrated of ways. The vignettes before his arrival were extremely dissonant to the tone of the Attitude Era, but his legitimate background interrupted the transmission a little bit. This felt like a heel role, but he didn't necessarily feel like the right man to play it. The punchline dropped hard at Survivor Series 1999 in what was an otherwise perfunctory debut match. Hearing the jeers from the crowd that Angle had earned through his cocksure body language and intentionally dry babyface stylings, Kurt bollocked them on the microphone mid-match. It was a fantastic moment, and the character clicked immediately, getting Angle over as a heel before the mic had even hit the floor. Number 5. Rocky Maivia. When we talk about Rocky Maivia, we talk about the Die Rocky Die chants that derailed him as a bland babyface and eventually forced the various twists and turns that would cement him as one of the all-time greats. For a while, it was a genuine furore, but focusing on this aspect neglects the actual debut at Survivor Series 1996, which, well, it was actually pretty damn successful. Madison Square Garden took a liking to Maivia in his very first match. That he performed damn well for a rookie is often lost as well, looking incredibly athletic throughout, including one spot where he seemed to kip up from a thudding Jerry Lawler knockdown before his body had even hit the mat. The debut itself has undergone some revision as well. The crowd was polite, it wasn't really the booming ovation from the tastemakers that many put it over as, however. But he was immediately something else, he was immediately over, even if nobody, himself included, knew what that something else really was. Number 4. Kevin Owens. Going from NXT to the main roster is tricky. It's not as simple as pointing the finger at Vince McMahon either, because a lot of the time, NXT fans have already seen their guy reach a pinnacle in what they feel is a better system, while the more casual fans are usually halfway mystified. There's always been this suggestion that those casual fans should automatically know who the person being called up is, though if you take a quick look at the ratings on Wednesday nights, well, that isn't always the case. One moment where WWE absolutely nailed it, however, was with Kevin Owens, whose call-up was emphatic, exhilarating and cathartic, with KO gilded as a super-working, ultra-violent genius, and defeating Super Cena cleanly on his main roster bout. Their match at Elimination Chamber was a belter, and the audacity of the booking and the well-done premise of Owens taking Cena to the limit legitimized him as a star in just 20 minutes. Number 3. Mitsuharu Misawa. On May 14th, 1990, Mitsuharu Misawa literally revealed himself to the watching world. He had performed under the Tiger Mask 2 gimmick for years, but the character's diminishing returns hid both the man and the potential that glowed through the mask. He was wrestling as Tiger Mask, present tense, in a match against Samson Fuyuki and Yoshiaki Yatsu, when, in the heat of a comeback, he ordered teammate Toshiaki Kawada to pull off the mask. The moment itself was something beyond any meteoric rise, and Misawa's rise to stardom was faster than even an overnight sensation. Kawada helped Misawa remove the mask, and when he struggled with the lacing, the fans willed him to complete the job. They were desperate to see Misawa's true face because they knew precisely what the moment represented: ascendancy into superstardom and the revelation of an open secret. The fans cheered his name as he evolved from a mid-card gimmick to an unmasked hero, and from prodigy to master. Number 2. The Fiend. Fans were gripped by Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse vignettes. Unsettling, funny and mysterious, Wyatt hit several tones, which together formed a colourful monstrosity far scarier than any creepy gibberish or teleporting jump scare. The whole thing radiated creativity and was helped inadvertently by the, well, not great state of WWE Raw after WrestleMania. Months of teases and building intrigue followed before the beast was finally unleashed at SummerSlam 2019, at which Finn Balor was utterly destroyed in an incredible spectacle of a squash match. Everything about it was pure theatre. This was the first time we'd seen Wyatt in full Fiend garb, and he entered with a genuinely awe-inspiring entrance that finally substantiated those Undertaker comparisons for the very first time, presenting Bray as something truly otherworldly. And at number 1, Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston was already over before this, otherwise fans would have never cast him in the role as WWE title challenger in the first place, but, in the words of Meek Mill, there are levels to this. Trust the genius of Stone Cold Steve Austin to deliver the perfect wording. In describing Seth Rollins' struggles to adjust to the babyface role, he said that Rollins wasn't, and I quote, all the way over. Rollins fell somewhere between popular and unmissable, as did Kofi before his awesome exploits in that first inspired gauntlet match of February 2019. It was inspired because it doubled as a test of Kofi's credentials and a conditioning exercise to the audience. They needed to see him navigate the epic to truly take him seriously as a headlining star. Without this very gauntlet match, him transitioning from 12-minute tags to a WrestleMania-sized match against Daniel Bryan in the form of his life would have been difficult to accept, but this acted as an abridged version of a committed, sustained push, which is ideal really, given how WWE struggle with precisely that. Showing the full range of his selling ability, Kingston was great, and in the best moment of the match, he fired up with profound conviction in the face of AJ Styles. Now, Styles eventually beat him, but it didn't matter. Kofi had shed the remnants of his mid-card New Day persona with clinical timing. So that's our list, but what do you guys think? And can you think of any others? Let us know down in the comments section below. After that, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Then, you can follow us on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE and myself at Andy H. Murray, where you can tell me how wrong I am. Goodbye!